G'day guys, MFWest here. A couple of days ago I made a video asking what you guys were actually looking for in terms of content. I just come back and asked you, what do you want to see? And as you can see on the picture on the screen now, macro and key bindings. I never expected that comment or that idea to get so popular. So that was really interesting. So this is what this video is going to be about. Luckily, it's not a big topic. I'm going to finish it in roughly 6 to 8 minutes, no problem. And some of the other ideas below that, PvP is a big one. I know a lot of you guys follow me for that. And I will be doing a PvP guide. I just need to, like, it's been 3 days. I need to get back into the whole scheme of things, do some arenas, get the feel for it. Nothing much has changed for Unholy, but still, I want to be 100% certain before I make the guide. The last time I made a PvP guide was like the start of the expansion. And I think it's on like 80,000 views or something, but it needs to be updated. So I'll be doing that. And yeah, I'm going to basically talk to you guys right now about macros. So splitting the guide up into two, well, this video into two sections, macros, and the second bit will be my key bindings. I'm going to show you guys my keyboard, my mouse, everything, how everything works, because you guys want to know that information. So without further ado, let's get into the macros. Alright guys, so Unholy macros, I'm going to split up into PvE macros and PvP macros. The first PvE macro, and the most important one in my opinion, is this D&D macro. Now, Death and Decay, this is the most important macro, and I even included it in my Mythic Plus guide last patch. This is a game changer. If, say, for example, scenario, you actually right now have Death and Decay keybinded to, I don't know, like freaking T on your keyboard. When you press that bind for Death and Decay, the highlighted circle will come up where to place the D&D. Then you press it again and it goes down the ground. That's 2 global cooldowns, 2 seconds that you're wasting when this macro makes it 1. So Unholy, I mean, for those of you that want to get quite serious and boost DPS, it's basically saving you a second of time in a dungeon, in a raid boss, where you could be doing more damage and getting out that D&D faster when the ads are all clumped, for example. So all this does is wherever your cursor is, you press that keybind, it was going to go down just like that. Done. Okay, it's really good. I'm going to put all these macros in the description below, so don't worry about copying it from the screen. Alright, the next macro that I think is very important is it's going to be a PetDismiss macro. Alright, so our pet, unfortunately, is quite difficult to control. Now, I'm going to be making a pet video entirely separate to this video because that's a topic that I want to cover, and I don't think anyone has before. Pet control and pet management. A lot of people have asked me questions in the past, and I'm like, alright, let's just make a pet video, how to control your pet, how to use your pet the best. Everything about Unholy pets. But this macro is extremely handy in PvP, guys. It's going to basically be the deciding factor if you win the duel or not, or if you die or not. So as you guys know, this is completely linked with Corpse Shield. Corpse Shield, as you can see, is for the next 10 seconds, 90% of all damage you take is transferred to your Geist. Now, you see Corpse Shield is up. You don't want to use Corpse Shield when your pet is on like 20% HP, because when that shield breaks, and say they do break the shield like 2 seconds, it's going to absorb all the health of your pet as well, and you want your pet to be on full HP. So it's like 2 seconds. It can be the difference between life and death. So say your pet scenario, you're in a duel and you're down 20% HP, and your pet's also being hit and it's around 20% HP. You use this macro to dismiss your pet, and then you resummon your pet. Now the raise dead cooldown is on a 1 minute cooldown, so they both link up. It's possible. So you want to raise your dead as soon as you've dismissed it. Now you have a pet with full HP, and you're free to use Corpse Shield, and you're going to get the best Corpse Shield you can possibly get. That's hands down. So basically, watch this, guys. So my pet's here, dismissed, and resummon. There, he's back now. So it's done in like 2 seconds, and trust me, game changer. And it can completely, I don't know if you guys saw my dueling guide, but it's the method that I use to trick windwalker monks into thinking that they can kill me, and then I in fact actually chain stun them and kill them. So it's very handy to luring people to think they can kill you, and you actually have a massive fat shield. Okay, it's good PvP and arena, most definitely, even more PvP. Next, linked with the PetDismiss macro is the corpse shield macro. So a lot of people don't have this macro and they're screwing themselves horribly, and they're like, unholy survival shit, I can't live. Well, yeah, unholy survival is pretty bad, I have to admit, guys, but this will help your corpse shield absorb way more. Okay, now unbeknownst to some of you, I know some of you won't know this, I know a lot of you do, we have an ability called Huddle. This is on the normal pet, non-abomination, and it's not transformed. Go into a defensive crouch, reducing all damage taken by 50%, but preventing other actions for 10 seconds. Right, so you want to make sure while your corpse shield's up, because remember 90% of the damage the pet's taking is being transferred, is being eaten, and your pet's dying because of it. This puts the pet into a huddle where it reduces damage taken for 50% for 10 seconds. So it's basically buffing your corpse shield. And it's very, very, very important to make sure every time you use corpse shield that this is going to be used. So if you have your normal ghoul like me, non-abomination, it's Huddle. If you have your abomination, it is Protective Bile. So those are the two macros, guys, and basically all this does is it makes sure that that Huddle is used when your corpse shield is used. Very, very important that they coincide with one another. So you'll most definitely, if you don't have this macro, you will see a huge change in survivability when you use it next time, trust me. Only problem is for your pet, it stops moving, like it stands there and just goes like, well, it doesn't do that, but you can imagine it's trying to, literally called Huddle, so it can't move. So you're going to be mindful of that when chasing opponents while your corpse shield is up, that your pet's not going to be there when the Huddle ends after 10 seconds. Right, guys, next is arena macros. So these are all PvP macros. Basically, I recommend using Arena 1, Arena 2, and Arena 3 target macros for your Asphyxiate, your Death Grip, and you can even use it for Mind Freeze. But I use mine for Asphyxiate and Death Grip. All this is going to do, in Arena, you have your target 1, target 2, and target 3. Asphyxiate, you can see the healer is target 2, so you're going to use your Asphyxiate on target 2. If you need to peel someone off your healer, you need to peel the arms warrior off your healer, he's target 1, boom, target 1. And this is great for watching healers casts and interrupting them, pulling death gripping healers casts off. It's like instantaneous. You don't need to go over there, where is he, oh, there he is, let's click on this guy, and then you use your keybind to pull him in. That's really slow. This is a very fast, great way to do it. All that you have to be mindful of is to watch where your opponent is. You can be spamming this macro and they're not in range, so make sure you're in range. So there are very simple macros. Next macro. This is good for BGs, can be helpful if you play with a Warlock for Arena. Basically all this is going to do is stop casting, cast IceBoundFortitude, use Healthstone. So normally when you cast IceBoundFortitude, you're in a bit of a sticky situation. The guy's popped an offensive cooldown, or you're trying to defend yourself and you're not on 100% HP. This is going to use your healthstone and cast IBF. So, and if you're a Draenei, use good to the naaru. That's pretty helpful, right? So that's a nice little macro there. Like I said again, they're all in the description. This is just a simple focused mind freeze. I like putting my focus targets close to here so I can see when they're casting, and then I'll immediately mind freeze them if it's an important cast and whatnot. Like I said, you can still do this with the target arena macros. It's completely up to you and how you want your key bindings to be. Next thing, I will go over this again in pet control management, but this basically, your pet will leap to your focus target, and when your pet is transformed, it's actually an interrupt and immobilization. It immobilizes the person for 1 second, and it interrupts that spell pool. So Death Knights have 2 interrupts. It is very important that you keep on this and you use it. This macro, if you want, you can use it. It's very simple, basic, straightforward, but yeah, make sure that you're using this to interrupt like clutch casts. And I'll go over that in pet control management again, but that's the macro. This is the same thing Sorry, this is supposed to be stun. Wow, that's a fail. Um, this is supposed to be Gnaw. Basically, it's just a focus stun. It will stun your focus target. Very, very straightforward, guys. Nothing too insane there. Same thing. And this is the last macro that I use. It's a PvE macro. In Nighthold, a lot of the time when I was using Blighted Rune Weapon, I liked to actually pop Blighted Rune Weapon and Dark Transformation at the same time, because Blighted Rune Weapon is off the global cooldown and Dark Transformation is not. So when you would press this macro, both the abilities would be used. So it's fun if you're using both these talents. If you're using the Blighted Rune Weapon talent, it's a very nice and easy way to always not forget about the talent. And it's the only really like macro I use other than D&D for PvE. Other macros that you could use for PvE and mouse over macros. A lot of people love those for death gripping mouse over targets. And that's about it, guys. One other one I do use is this one. Whenever I summon Gargoyle, it's going to use my Orc Racial Blood Fury, because Blood Fury, again, is off the global cooldown, so this kind of macro will exist. So that pretty much sums up the macros, guys. Let's get into my key bindings. Okay, guys, so key bindings. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Key bindings is something personal. It's something that you develop on your own. So I'm going to show you my key bindings, but it might not work for you. Everyone has their own kind of setup. In terms of my equipment, I'm going to look like a bloody Swifty fan here, guys. But I've got a Razer Naga mechanical keyboard, and I have a Razer Naga mouse as well, which has basically like what, 15 buttons or so, 12 on the side there, and then you've got your two on top as well. But I've got the keyboard up here, and I'm going to show you basically my setup. So I like keeping my spammy buttons close together and around my directional buttons. So obviously, most of you probably already done that. It's all in reach of all your fingers. So as you can see on the keyboard, right, W, A, S, D, I walk around like that as per usual. Now E. E is Festering Strike. It's what I use to develop my wounds. R is Scourge Strike / Clawing Shadows. F is Death Coil. So as you can see, like they're all around each other. ER and F. That's basically your main set of abilities. Then it gets a bit weird. Next on the list would be Death Strike. That's actually 1 on my mouse. It's button 1 on my mouse. I really do recommend getting a gaming mouse. They help a shit ton in terms of just like basically all the buttons assigned to my mouse are, besides Outbreak and Death Strike, are cooldowns. They're major cooldowns and short cooldowns. And it's just, I don't know, it's very reactive. You don't have to like try and press control. You don't have to use your keyboard, you know what I mean? You can put all the buttons onto your mouse. So I'm going to continue across this line here. Death Strike is 1 on my mouse. Outbreak is 2. Okay. Then I've got Death Grip is mouse wheel down. Okay. And then I've got Blighted Rune Weapon is control 4. A bit of a weird one there. Control 4. Soul Reaper, 5. 6 is Dark Transformation. 7 Chains of Ice. 3 Apocalypse. So kind of weird. It's like Apocalypse is on 3. My mount up is Q. Army of the Dead is 12 on my mouse. Asphyxiate is 8. I always make my stuns that. 9 is Corpse Shield. 10 is IceBoundFortitude. Mouse wheel up is going to be my Mind Freeze, my Interrupt. 11 is that macro I told you guys about, Summon Gargoyle and Blood Fury. T is Raise My Ghoul. V is Wraith Walk, again quite close to there for Arena and PvP. Shift mouse wheel up is Death and Decay, and then I've got mouse button 5 is Mind Freeze again. That's actually supposed to be my macro. Sorry, it is my macro. It's a focus macro for my Mind Freeze. And then again, Shift 1, Shift 1, Shift 2, Shift 3. That's going to be my death grips for arena targets in arena. So basically, all I basically do is press Shift and then 1, 2, 3 on the mouse is how I pull my targets. Shift 4, 5, 6 is Asphyxiate for my 3 targets in arena. And that's pretty much it. Pre-pot for Potion of Prolonged Power is F3. And that's about it. My pet stun is G, and my leap for my pet is mouse button 4, which is this big guy over here. That's mouse button 4. That's mind freeze. So basically that's my those are my key bindings, guys. Pretty straightforward. Maybe a little bit weird for you guys. It is weird looking at someone's key bindings and then looking at your own. You're like, wow, how the fuck does that work? But as you can see with most WoW classes, I try and keep the most important things um, around each other. The buttons that you spam a lot, you don't want to be spamming like H. That's just a pain in the ass. And most of you will naturally do the same. So, if anything, advice I would give you: keep your buttons that are important that you spam a lot close, and get a gaming mouse. It's worth the investment, especially for Unholy. It helps out a lot. So, guys, that's going to be the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I answered a lot of your questions, and that was the most requested video. Next up, I'll definitely be getting into PvP videos, and I'm most definitely going to be getting some PvE videos out, raiding Tumasai Garrus. I'm currently in a guild. What's it called? It's boss guides and whatnot. I'm just trying to get Forset and some gear so I can do some proper testing, get some proper numbers. But it's all on the way, guys. So thank you so much for watching the video, and a holy for the win. Peace.